The only people who bought this Smollett fairy tale from the very beginning were the reporters at all the major network affiliates and all the major networks who were pretty much convinced there were large gangs of white people in MAGA hats roaming the countryside trying to attack black gay actors. Well, now the story is starting to come out piece by piece by piece. The people ahead of the story the whole time were Second City Cop and CWB Chicago. Now the local affiliates are starting to contribute to the story. In Chicago, they figured out that the two guys they identified as people of interest, yes, they were not white guys wearing MAGA hats. They were black guys known to Mr. Smollett. Yeah, apparently the dude was being written out of Empire. He was all pissed off. And apparently the cops have known this for several days, if not a week, that this was a staged attack. Let's get some more details from the ABC affiliate in Chicago.
Is developing minute by minute here. Right now, Chicago police are questioning Jussie Smollett and a second Empire actor in the investigation into that alleged attack. Multiple sources are telling Eyewitness News that Smollett and the two men are being questioned by police for staging the attack, allegedly because his character was being written out of the show. Someone familiar with the investigation said that Smollett was a no-show for an interview earlier today with detectives, and all of this is coming on the heels of Smollett speaking out in his first media interview, taking aim at those who doubt his story.
He said, "This MAGA country punches me right in the face." So I punched his back. And then we started tussling. You know, it was very icy. And we ended up tussling by the stairs, fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back.
A harrowing account of what Empire actor Jussie Smollett says happened to him in Chicago's Streeterville neighborhood last month. As his television show continues to shoot this evening on the Mag Mile, police are now questioning the two people seen in this surveillance photo. One, an actor on Empire. And in a raid on their home, they retrieved shoes, electronic devices, and other items to see whether the two played a role in the assault. Just this afternoon, the attorney for one of those persons of interest was seen leaving Area Central Police Department. Smollett said today these two are his attackers.
I don't have any doubt in my mind that that's them. Never did.
But Chicago police say there is no evidence the persons of interest were involved in that physical attack described by Smollett. The actor and LGBTQ activist says a racially motivated, bigoted attack left him with cuts and bruises to his face and ribs, a noose around his neck, and bleach poured over his body.
I understand how difficult it will be to find them, but we gotta. I still want to believe, with everything that has happened, that there's something called justice.
Now, obviously, this case is still evolving. Chicago police say they cannot confirm the identities of those being questioned in the case to protect the integrity of the investigation, and those identities will not be released right at this time.
My favorite part of the story so far comes from CWBChicago.com. They talked about how Smollett gave the cops his phone records, but what he did, he downloaded them on a spreadsheet, then he deleted or redacted all the calls that he did not want the cops to follow up on. The cops saw the spreadsheet and they said, "Hey, thanks, Just, but no thanks. We think we'll get a subpoena from your cell phone provider." So what's the way the cops put it to CWB Chicago is, Jussie saved us a lot of time because once we saw the phone numbers he redacted, those are the ones we started with, and that's how they kind of broke the case. In the scheme of things, this Jussie Smollett story, I just learned how to pronounce his name, Smollett.
Please, sir, I want some more.
It's not that big of a deal. A guy stages a hate crime, good. We'll give him a spanking. He'll promise not to do it again, and off he will go to his next acting gig, telling everybody he really did get beat up by a bunch of people wearing white guys wearing MAGA hats. That's the way this is going to play out, even though he's going to be proven wrong. But even though I like, these hoaxes are really important, they're bigger than this because the hoaxes really show us something more important than this clown staging a hate crime. They show us how eager reporters and public officials are to believe this fairy tale, how eager they are to believe the greatest lie of our generation, the hoax of black victimization, and how easy and how easy it is an indicator of how eager they are to believe the lie. Because believing Jussie Smollett and other people when they talk about the greatest lie of our generation, that'll never make the black kids angry.